So I spent over $100,000 on my solar system for my ranch. Now, that just makes it so that my small home has a bill of less than $100 a month. Because it used to be negatives and they would owe me, and then all of a sudden they started charging me a fee, and then they charged me a different fee. So I had like 3 fees on there that weren't there before. And then now, even in the middle of the summer with everything off while we're at work, because both my wife and I work 6 days on, 1 day off, we still have a bill. Just 2 people, nothing on. Someone explain that to me. Oh, and we're with the United Co-op in Texas. Yeah.
Everyone who's paying attention will agree that life has gotten way more expensive in Texas, especially gas, groceries, and housing. The crazy thing is, I don't understand why people want to keep supporting MAGA Republicans. All they're doing is just promoting another war instead of addressing the issues at home. Not the one whose pockets are hurting from all of this. They have their 11 investment properties that they own. They're totally fine. It's ordinary people who are feeling this the most.
Somebody please explain why Texas minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. And before you come at me and you're like, nobody makes that and it's not designed to be a living wage. Yes, that's exactly what minimum wage was designed for, to be a living wage. And literally nobody can live off of that. Everything has gone up, from rent, groceries, gas, everything. But, lawmakers looked at all that and said, nah, $7.25 is probably still fine. And meanwhile, corporations are posting record profits every single year. So, am I missing something?
Never in my life have I ever seen a $900 electric bill until this month in the state of Texas. Never have I felt so hurt paying an electric bill than I do today. And I'm 36. I don't know how these kids are surviving out there. If you have a daughter or son that's graduating and getting out there in the world by themselves, and they're paying their rent and electric and car and insurance, I don't know how they're surviving. I don't know how. I don't know. A $900 electric bill, and we keep it at $80? I've looked into everything. I've sent texts over to try to figure this out. They said they just raise the rates in the summer.
Everyone told you to move to Texas. No income tax. Cheap land. Freedom. So why does it feel like Texans are getting squeezed harder than ever? For years, Texas was the pitch: leave California, leave New York, come here where the government stays small and your paycheck stretches further. That was the deal. Here's what's actually happening on the ground. Home insurance premiums in Texas nearly doubled in just 6 years, from around $2,000 a year to over $3,500. Since 2009, those premiums have grown 7 times faster than people's paychecks. And home prices statewide are still about a third higher than they were 6 years ago, even after recent cooling. In some of the fastest-growing metros, families now need 6 figures more income than they earn just to afford the typical home once insurance is factored in.
If you are from Texas, you know it's a scam. You know Texas is a complete scam.
I thought Texas was supposed to be the cheap state to move to, but Republicans have controlled Texas government for decades. Now families are paying more for groceries, more for insurance, more for electricity, and more for housing. Drought is hurting ranchers. The new world screwworm threat is another challenge, but tariffs backed by MAGA Republicans add even more cost to business and supply chains. Texas families keep paying more.
Gas bills doubled this month for a lot of homeowners here in El Paso, Texas. But don't worry, they say that you can set up a payment plan to make accommodations. Now let's talk about why this is actually happening. According to a recent article by Fox, the increase is tied to a few things. Texas Gas Service says that there's a new rate structure, higher delivery charges, and increased usage during the colder weather. They also point to spikes in natural gas market prices during part of this billing cycle. So yes, Colder weather absolutely can raise your usage. Yes, the market prices do fluctuate, but the article also highlights changes to base charges and delivery fees, and those are fixed costs. That's not just how high you turn up your heater, that's about how the bill itself is structured. So this is something that is going to be going on more and more. And that's why people are super frustrated. Because when your bill nearly doubles, it doesn't just feel like a small adjustment. It feels like something fundamentally is changing within your bill structure. And again, yes, you can set up a payment plan, but a payment plan doesn't lower the new base charges. It doesn't remove delivery fees increases, and it spreads this month's balance into next month's, while next month's balance is still building. This is exactly what I mean when I say affordability in El Paso isn't just about mortgages. It's utilities, it's insurance, it's property taxes, it's everything stacking up all at once. We need transparency, we need clarity, and we need to understand what this means long-term for families here in El Paso, Texas. I'm Erica Barnaby with Home Pros. Hope you enjoyed this message.
All my love.
Bro, this is gas in Texas. I want you to look at this. $4 a gallon, bro, in Texas. Thanks, Trump. Remember when you said that we were going to have this gas was less than $2 a gallon? That didn't happen. It was all bullshit.
It come on a Monday. The envelope bore no mercy, no smile, only that cruel whirling sun of TXU. A logo that shines not with hope, but with consequence. As if to say, you danced, now pay. I broke the seal back like I was peeling back the bandage on a wound I done give myself, and there it was. $696.27. Now, I recall a time not too long ago when a man could just sleep with just a fan on. Box fan in the window, sheets damp with his own resolve. But then came August. August, that devil in cargo shorts. She comes with air so thick you can taste the mosquitoes before they bite you. And I, a weak and weary creature, I touched the thermostat, dropped her down to 71, the sin of comfort. I knew what I was doing. Each degree of betrayal, each hour a soft lie told in Freon, but I pressed on. A man cannot sweat through 3 showers a day and still hold his head high at the HEB. Now I'm shackled, betrayed and bound by wattage and poor choices, and yet I will do it again, for I have known the chill, and I will not go back.
I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio, but hell, we're human beings. Help us.
Now, we all feel compassion for what's happening in Texas, right? We all feel that. However, isn't this you?
Up on your video this morning. You just couldn't help out. But I'm gonna have to do that. We're not gonna help out anybody. Y'all been living on food stamps, EBT, Section 8 housing your entire freaking life.
And isn't this also you?
Are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? It's almost over. It's just begun.
And what about this?
What you gonna do, crybaby? With alligator. I want Alcatraz merch if I want to. And what you gonna do?
You see, this is just the hypocrisy of MAGA Trump supporters. You want compassion for yourselves, but you have no compassion for anybody else. And I've seen quite a few right-wing MAGA supporters saying, how dare you make this issue political? How dare you say that this is what you voted for? I've seen tons of them. So let's just clear something up. First of all, we're not saying that we are happy that this happened to anybody. We're not saying that, but we are pointing out the fact that you did vote for this, that you supported it. You just didn't support it when it happens directly to you. I would like to think that maybe now you'll wake up and have compassion for others and realize that the person you voted for doesn't care about you. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say there is no growth within your party.
One of the gentlemen mentioned that the Fermis one they're building is 11 gigawatts of power. Let's put this in perspective. That is 4 city of Austins. We are building 4 city of Austins right next to Amarillo. The one in Abilene, that's a Seattle. The one in Midland, Odessa, that is 1.5 Austins. The one in Waco is about the same. We are building these things throughout our state, throughout everywhere. And not because any of us asked for it, because these folks are being shady as hell.
I moved to Texas expecting to save money. Instead, I'm paying almost the same prices I was trying to escape. Rent expensive, groceries expensive, car insurance expensive, eating out expensive, but Texas still has the minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Lawmakers keep telling everyone the economy is booming. If it's booming, why are so many people struggling just to pay basic bills? Seems like the economy is working great for corporations and billionaires, just not the people actually doing the work.
How is everyone in Texas affording stuff right now? Minimum wage is still stuck at $7.25 an hour while everything else keeps going up. Rent keeps rising, groceries keep rising, gas keeps rising, utility bills are insane. You can literally work 40 hours every single week and still not afford basic living expenses. After taxes, minimum wage workers are only bringing home around $1,200 a month, while average monthly expenses are closer to $2,000 or more. People are not struggling because they're lazy. They're struggling because the cost of living keeps climbing while wages stay the same.
So I saw a post the other day that said Houston is now one of the poorest cities in America. And at first glance, I ain't gonna lie, it definitely made sense. Because the job market here is fucked up. Let's just be real. You can literally work full time and still be motherfucking broke. The average job does not pay enough to cover rent, groceries, bills, and a damn emergency. When you actually compare the cost of living to what these jobs pay, it just don't add up. They're literally asking people to survive on math that doesn't make sense. But on the flip side, here's what people don't talk about. Houston is one of the most entrepreneur-friendly cities in the country. This city is flooded with opportunity if you know how to play the game. Low startup costs, massive industries, tech, real estate, oil. Doors are literally wide open if you have resources and connections, and obviously strategy. That's why you'll see broke neighborhoods just a few blocks away from billion-dollar developments. Houston is not poor. The people are just underpaid. The system is set up to keep workers hustling just to get paid. Pennies on a dollar. While entrepreneurs, investors, and resourceful people thrive. If you're dependent on a paycheck in Houston, you are stuck in a cycle that was not meant for you to thrive in. But if you learn how to fix your credit, start a business, invest in real estate, or just invest in something, the city can literally reward you overnight. So yeah, the photo was right, but it was also wrong. Houston is one of the poorest cities if you do measure it by wages and jobs. But Houston is one of the richest cities if you measure it by opportunities and entrepreneurship. The difference is resources and money.
Texas was just ranked the second worst state to live in based on quality of life in the United States. And as somebody who has lived here for 9 months, not by choice, I couldn't agree more. Something that I noticed immediately when I got to Texas was how poor the infrastructure is. It's impossible to drive on the highway. You are merging from 5 lanes to 2 lanes within a quarter mile. There's always traffic. You have to make a U-turn every time you get in your car. It takes 20 minutes to get anywhere. The infrastructure of Texas statewide is terrible. I live in Fort Worth right now, and they take a lot of pride in their multi-layer overpass thing. I'll put a picture in. But it's just counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense, and it's complicated and makes it impossible to change highways. On top of the infrastructure being shit, things aren't less expensive. Yeah, there's no state income tax, but Texas is one of the leading, if not the leading producer of oil in the country. Gas is still $3.69 right now on July 14th. I was paying that in the Bay Area, California, a year ago. Produce, shit. I just paid $9 for a pound of lean ground beef. Isn't Texas known for their beef? The accessibility to the outdoors, state parks, national parks, basically non-existent. I've never lived somewhere where there's more garbage and littering on the sides of the streets than here. It's unhealthy to drink the tap water, not to mention it is hot as hell. I guess maybe you could justify living in Texas by saying the housing market is more affordable, but data centers are going up left and right, so your house is losing its value anyways. Also, I haven't even talked about education or healthcare because I haven't experienced either of those things here, but I know that they're shit. Living in Texas is literally like buying a medium-sized drink. You could have spent a lot less and gotten a small, or you could have spent a little more and gotten much more value in a large, but instead you played yourself and bought a fucking medium and you live in Texas.